Chapter 1. The Beginning of Everything. Creation in Hindu Mythology. In the beginning, before the universe existed in any recognizable form, there was only an infinite and formless reality. There were no stars, no planets, no space, and no time. There was no light and no darkness, because even those ideas had not yet come into existence. Everything existed in a state of pure potential, beyond human perception. In Hindu philosophy, this ultimate reality is known as Brahman, the eternal, unchanging truth that exists beyond all forms and limitations. From this vast and silent existence emerged the first expression of creation, a cosmic presence known as Lord Vishnu. Vishnu represents preservation, balance, and the sustaining force of the universe. He is often described as resting upon a great cosmic ocean called the Kshira Sagara, or the ocean of milk. This ocean is not a physical body of water, but a symbolic representation of infinite potential and undifferentiated existence. Vishnu rests upon a great serpent named Ananta, also known as Shesha. The name Ananta means endless, and the serpent symbolizes infinity and the eternal nature of time. Coiled beneath Vishnu, Ananta represents stability within the infinite. Vishnu lies in a state of deep calm, not asleep in the human sense, but existing in perfect awareness and stillness. From Vishnu's navel emerges a lotus flower, slowly rising from the cosmic ocean. The lotus is an important symbol in Hindu thought, representing creation, purity, and the unfolding of life. As the lotus blooms, it reveals Brahma, the creator god, seated at its center. Brahma is often shown with 4 heads, each facing a different direction. These heads symbolize knowledge and awareness of all directions, as well as the 4 Vedas, the ancient sacred texts. When Brahma becomes conscious, he finds himself alone in a vast emptiness. There is no sky, no earth, and no other beings, only silence and the endless cosmic ocean. At first, Brahma is confused. He does not know where he has come from or what his purpose is. He looks in every direction, searching for answers, but finds nothing. Eventually, he turns inward and begins to meditate. Through deep focus and awareness, he comes to understand that his purpose is to create. Brahma begins the process of creation by forming the structure of the universe. First, he creates space, providing a vast expanse for existence. Then, he creates time, allowing events to unfold. With space and time established, he brings forth the 5 fundamental elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. These 5 elements, known as the Pancha Mahabhutas, are the building blocks of all matter. Everything in the universe is made from these 5 elements in different combinations. This idea reflects a deep connection between all things in Hindu philosophy. Everything is part of the same universal structure. With the foundation in place, Brahma begins to create life. He creates the Prajapakis, or progenitors, who help populate the universe. From them come various forms of beings, including gods, humans, animals, and other creatures. As creation expands, the universe becomes more complex. Different forces begin to emerge, leading to the appearance of 2 major groups, the Devas and the Asuras. The Devas are often seen as gods who represent order, harmony, and balance. The Asuras are powerful beings associated with ambition, desire, and sometimes conflict.
However, in early Hindu mythology, the asuras are not purely evil. They are simply another part of the cosmic system. Both devas and asuras play important roles in maintaining balance in the universe. Their interactions create movement, change, and growth. As the universe continues to develop, it becomes clear that creation alone is not enough. There must also be preservation and transformation. This leads to the concept of the Trimurti: Brahma, the creator; Vishnu, the preserver; and Shiva, the transformer. While Brahma creates the universe, Vishnu maintains it, ensuring stability and balance. Shiva, often misunderstood as a destroyer, represents transformation. His role is to dissolve what is no longer needed, allowing new creation to take place. This cycle of creation, preservation, and transformation is continuous. The universe is not created once and left unchanged. Instead, it goes through endless cycles known as kalpas. Each cycle includes creation, existence, and dissolution, followed by renewal. Time in Hindu mythology is cyclical, not linear. Within each cycle are smaller ages called Yugas. There are 4 Yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Each represents a gradual decline in moral and spiritual values. Satya Yuga is an age of truth and harmony. Treta Yuga introduces some imbalance. Dwapara Yuga sees further decline, and Kali Yuga, the current age, is marked by conflict and confusion. However, this cycle is not negative, it is part of a natural rhythm. After Kali Yuga ends, the cycle begins again. As Brahma continues creating, he also brings into existence the inner aspects of life, such as the mind, intellect, and ego. These shape how beings experience the world. 2 important concepts emerge from this system: dharma and karma. Dharma refers to the natural order and the role each being must fulfill. Karma is the law of cause and effect, where every action has consequences. Karma is closely tied to samsara, the cycle of rebirth. According to this belief, the soul moves through many lifetimes. The ultimate goal is moksha, or liberation, the release from this cycle and a return to unity with Brahman. The story of creation in Hindu mythology is not just about how the universe began, it's about an ongoing process of balance, change, and interconnectedness. It introduces the key ideas that shape everything that follows. From this foundation, the universe continues to evolve, setting the stage for the stories of gods, heroes, and cosmic events that define Hindu mythology.
Chapter 2: The Birth of Gods and Demons, the Rise of Cosmic Forces. After the universe was created and the foundations of existence were established, life began to expand in many forms. The early stages of creation were calm and balanced, but as more beings came into existence, new forces began to emerge. These forces would shape the ongoing story of the universe. Brahma, the creator, continued his work by bringing forth powerful beings who would help maintain and develop the cosmos. Among these were the Prajapatis, the original progenitors of life. From them came sages, celestial beings, and many different forms of existence. One of the most important creations during this time was the group known as the Devas. The Devas are often described as gods, but they are better understood as cosmic forces that represent order, light, and harmony. Each Deva governs a specific aspect of the universe. For example, Indra became the king of the Devas and the ruler of the heavens. He is associated with storms, rain, and the sky.
Agni represents fire and transformation, playing a central role in rituals and offerings. Varuna governs the waters and cosmic law, while Vayu represents the wind and life force. These devas were not all-powerful in the way a single god might be in other traditions. Instead, they worked together to maintain balance in the universe. Each had strengths, limitations, and responsibilities. At the same time, another group of powerful beings came into existence, the Asuras. Like the Devas, the Asuras were strong, intelligent, and influential. In the earliest stories, they were not considered evil. In fact, they were often seen as rivals to the Devas rather than enemies. The Asuras represented different qualities: ambition, desire, power, and material focus. While the Devas were more aligned with balance and harmony, the Asuras were driven by strength and control. Both groups were necessary, as they created tension and movement within the universe. This balance between opposing forces is a key idea in Hindu mythology. Without opposition, there would be no growth or change. The interactions between Devas and Asuras created the dynamic nature of existence. As time passed, conflicts began to arise between these two groups. The Devas and Asuras both sought influence over the universe, and their differences led to competition. These conflicts were not simply battles of good versus evil, but struggles between different aspects of existence. One of the reasons for this growing tension was the desire for immortality. Both the Devas and Asuras wanted to gain Amrita, the nectar of immortality. This powerful substance would grant eternal life and strength, making whoever possessed it nearly unstoppable. However, Amrita did not exist freely. It had to be created through a great cosmic event known as the Samudra Manthan, or the churning of the ocean. This event would become one of the most important stories in Hindu mythology. Before this event took place, the Devas found themselves in a weakened state. Due to various circumstances, including curses and battles, they had lost much of their strength. The Asuras, on the other hand, had grown more powerful. Realizing they could not defeat the Asuras on their own, the Devas turned to Vishnu for guidance. Vishnu advised that they work together with the Asuras to churn the cosmic ocean and obtain the nectar of immortality. This was a strategic decision, as the task required immense effort that neither side could accomplish alone. Reluctantly, the Devas approached the Asuras and proposed a temporary alliance. The Asuras agreed, motivated by their own desire for power and immortality. Together, they prepared for the great churning. They used Mount Mandara as the churning rod and the great serpent Vasuki as the rope. The Devas took one side and the Asuras took the other. As they pulled back and forth, the ocean began to churn, setting into motion a series of extraordinary events. As the ocean was churned, many things emerged from its depths. Some were beautiful and valuable, but others were dangerous. Among the first to appear was a deadly poison known as hala hala. This poison was so powerful that it threatened to destroy all of creation. At this critical moment, Lord Shiva stepped in. Without hesitation, he consumed the poison to protect the universe. However, he held it in his throat, preventing it from spreading through his body. This act turned his throat blue, earning him the name Nilkant, or the blue-throated one. This moment highlights Shiva's role as a protector through transformation. He does not simply destroy, but absorbs and neutralizes danger, preserving the balance of the universe. As the churning continued, more treasures emerged, including divine beings, celestial animals, and powerful objects. Finally, the most sought-after prize appeared, the nectar of immortality, Amrita. At this point, the alliance between the Devas and Asuras began to break down. Both sides wanted the nectar for themselves. The situation became tense, and conflict seemed inevitable. To resolve this, Vishnu took on a new form known as Mohini, a beautiful and enchanting figure. In this form, Vishnu distracted the Asuras and skillfully distributed the nectar to the Devas instead. One Asura, however, managed to disguise himself and drink some of the nectar. This being was later split into two, Rahu and Ketu, who continued to play a role in cosmic events, particularly eclipses. With the nectar secured, the Devas regained their strength, and balance was restored, at least for a time. The Asuras, though defeated in this instance, were not destroyed. They continued to exist and challenge the Devas in future stories. This chapter marks an important shift in Hindu mythology. The universe is no longer just being created, it is now active, dynamic, and filled with interaction. The balance between order and chaos, cooperation and conflict becomes a central theme. These early events set the stage for many of the stories that follow, where gods, demons, and humans all play their roles in maintaining the balance of the cosmos.
Chapter 3: The Rise of Shiva and the Power of Transformation. As the universe continued to evolve and the balance between the Devas and Asuras shaped the cosmic order, another powerful force began to take a more central role: Shiva. Unlike Brahma, the creator, or Vishnu, the preserver, Shiva represents transformation. He is often called the destroyer, but this can be misleading. In Hindu mythology, destruction is not seen as something negative. Instead, it is understood as a necessary step in the cycle of renewal. Without destruction, nothing new can take its place. Shiva exists beyond the structures of the universe. While the Devas rule over specific aspects of nature and cosmic order, Shiva is often found outside these systems. He lives in deep meditation, removed from worldly concerns, on Mount Kailash, a sacred and isolated peak. There he sits in stillness, representing pure awareness and detachment. His appearance reflects his unique nature. Shiva is often depicted with ash covering his body, symbolizing the end of all material things. He wears a tiger skin, representing power over nature, and a serpent rests around his neck, symbolizing control over fear and death. The river Ganga is said to flow from his hair, showing his role in channeling powerful cosmic forces. One of Shiva's most important symbols is his third eye. This eye represents higher awareness and insight beyond ordinary perception. When opened, it has the power to destroy ignorance and illusion. This again reflects the idea that Shiva's destruction is not random, but purposeful, removing what is false to reveal truth. Despite his solitary nature, Shiva plays a crucial role in maintaining balance in the universe. When forces grow too strong, or when imbalance threatens existence, Shiva intervenes, not to control, but to transform. One of the earliest stories that highlights Shiva's role is his intervention during the churning of the ocean. When the deadly poison Halahala emerged, it was Shiva who stepped forward to contain it. By drinking the poison and holding it in his throat, he prevented the destruction of the universe. This act shows that Shiva does not avoid danger or chaos, it absorbs it and transforms it. Another important aspect of Shiva's story is his relationship with Shakti, the divine feminine energy. Shakti represents power, energy, and creation itself. Without Shakti, Shiva is inactive.
Without Shiva, Shakti is directionless. Together, they represent the balance between consciousness and energy. Shiva's first consort is Sati, the daughter of King Daksha. However, Daksha disapproves of Shiva, seeing him as strange and unworthy. He organizes a great ritual, but deliberately does not invite Shiva or Sati. Despite this, Sati attends the gathering, where she is insulted by her father. Unable to bear the disrespect toward her husband, Sati sacrifices herself in the fire of the ritual. This event marks a turning point. When Shiva learns of her death, he is overcome with grief and anger. In his sorrow, he performs a powerful cosmic dance known as the Tandava. This dance is not merely an expression of emotion, it is a force of destruction that shakes the universe. It represents the breakdown of order, the release of energy, and the beginning of transformation. To restore balance, Vishnu intervenes and helps calm Shiva, allowing the cycle to continue. Sati is later reborn as Parvati, the daughter of the mountain king Himavan. Parvati grows up with deep devotion to Shiva and seeks to reunite with him. Through intense meditation and dedication, she eventually wins his attention and love. Their union is significant. It represents the merging of Shiva and Shakti, consciousness and energy. Together, they create balance not only in the cosmos, but also within the spiritual understanding of existence. From their union comes Ganesha, the remover of obstacles, and Kartikeya, the god of war. These deities play important roles in later stories, each representing different aspects of life and human experience. Shiva is also known for his cosmic dance as Nataraja, the Lord of Dance. In this form, he dances within a circle of fire, symbolizing the universe. His dance represents the continuous cycle of creation, preservation, and destruction. Each movement reflects the rhythm of existence itself. In one hand, he holds a drum, symbolizing creation and the beginning of time. In another, he holds fire, representing destruction. One hand is raised in a gesture of protection, while another points downward, encouraging liberation. Beneath his feet lies a figure representing ignorance, which he suppresses through his dance. This image captures the essence of Shiva's role. He is not simply a destroyer, but a force that maintains balance through transformation. He removes what is no longer needed, clears illusion, and allows new forms to arise. Shiva's teachings often emphasize detachment from material desires and the importance of inner awareness. He is associated with meditation, self-realization, and the pursuit of truth. Unlike other gods who are often involved in worldly affairs, Shiva remains connected to the deeper, spiritual dimension of existence. At the same time, he is not distant or unreachable. He is known to respond quickly to devotion, regardless of who offers it. This makes him both powerful and accessible, a unique combination in Hindu mythology. As the universe continues to evolve, Shiva's presence becomes increasingly important. His role ensures that the cycle of existence does not become stagnant. Through destruction, he creates space for renewal. Through transformation, he maintains balance. This chapter introduces Shiva not just as a god, but as a principle, one that reminds us that change is necessary, that endings are part of beginnings, and that transformation is at the heart of existence. In the next chapter, we will explore the many forms of Vishnu and how he descends into the world through his avatars to restore balance whenever it is threatened.
Chapter 4: Vishnu's Avatars and the Protection of the Universe. As the universe continued to unfold and the balance between creation, preservation, and transformation became more complex, the role of Vishnu grew increasingly important. While Brahma created the universe and Shiva ensured its transformation, it was Vishnu who maintained order within it. However, maintaining balance was not always simple. Over time, the forces of chaos, often represented by powerful asuras, would grow stronger and threaten the harmony of the cosmos. Whenever this imbalance became too great, Vishnu would intervene, not always from afar, but by entering the world directly. This is where the concept of avatars emerges. An avatar is a physical incarnation or manifestation of a divine being. Vishnu, as the preserver, takes on different forms throughout time to restore balance whenever it is disturbed. These avatars appear in different ages, or Yugas, each suited to the specific challenges of that time. Among the many avatars of Vishnu, 10 are considered the most significant. These are known as the Dashavatara, or the 10 principal incarnations. The first avatar is Matsya, the fish. This form appears at a time when a great flood threatens to destroy all life. Vishnu takes the form of a giant fish to guide a king named Manu, warning him of the coming flood and instructing him to build a vessel. Matsya then helps guide the vessel safely through the waters, preserving life and knowledge for the next cycle of creation. This story reflects themes of protection, renewal, and the preservation of wisdom. The second avatar is Kurma, the turtle. This form appears during the great churning of the ocean. As the Devas and Asuras use a mountain as a churning rod, it begins to sink into the ocean. Vishnu takes the form of a giant turtle and supports the mountain on his back, allowing the churning to continue. This avatar represents stability and support during times of great effort and change. The third avatar is Varaha, the boar. In this story, the earth, personified as a goddess, is dragged into the depths of the cosmic ocean by a powerful asura. Vishnu takes the form of a massive boar, dives into the depths, defeats the asura, and lifts the earth back into its proper place. This avatar symbolizes the restoration of balance and the protection of the world itself. The fourth avatar is Narasimha, a being who is half man and half lion. This form is taken to defeat a nearly invincible asura king named Hiranyakashipu. The king had received a boon that made him immune to death under almost all conditions. He could not be killed by man or animal, indoors or outdoors, during day or night, or by any weapon. To overcome this, Vishnu takes a form that is neither man nor animal, appears at twilight, neither day nor night, and kills the king at the threshold of a doorway, neither indoors nor outdoors, using his claws instead of weapons. This story demonstrates how balance is restored not by brute force, but through intelligence and adaptability. The fifth avatar is Vamana, a dwarf. In this story, a generous but ambitious king named Bali gains great power and begins to dominate the universe. Vishnu appears as a small Brahmin and asks the king for as much land as he can cover in 3 steps. Bali agrees. Vamana then transforms into a Vishal cosmic form. With 1 step, he covers the earth. With the second, he covers the heavens. With nowhere left for the 3rd step, Bali offers his own head, and Vishnu gently pushes him down, restoring balance while honoring his devotion. This story highlights humility, wisdom, and the limits of power. The 6th avatar is Parashurama, a warrior with an axe. He appears during a time when corruption and misuse of power have spread among rulers. Parashurama's role is to restore justice by confronting those who abuse their authority. This avatar reflects the idea that balance sometimes requires direct action. The 7th avatar is Rama, one of the most important figures in Hindu mythology. Rama is a prince and hero whose story is told in the epic Ramayana. He represents righteousness, duty, and moral integrity. His journey, including the rescue of his wife Sita and his battle against the demon king Ravana, becomes a model for ethical behavior and leadership. The eighth avatar is Krishna, another central figure whose life and teachings are deeply influential. Krishna plays many roles: teacher, guide, and protector. In the Mahabharata, he serves as a charioteer and advisor to the warrior Arjuna, delivering the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna emphasizes duty, devotion, and the importance of understanding one's role in the universe. The ninth avatar is often considered to be Buddha in some traditions, representing compassion and the rejection of unnecessary suffering. In other interpretations, this place is held by Balarama. Regardless of the variation, this avatar reflects a shift toward inner und. Chapter 5. The Ramayana, the story of Rama. Among the many stories in Hindu mythology, the Ramayana stands as one of the most important and widely told epics. It is the story of Rama, the seventh avatar of Vishnu, and it explores themes of duty, loyalty, righteousness, and the struggle between good and evil. Rama was born as a prince in the kingdom of Ayodhya to King Dasharatha. From a young age, he was known for his calm nature, strength, and deep sense of responsibility. He was not only skilled in combat, but also guided by a strong moral code known as Dharma, the duty to act rightly in all situations. Rama married Sita, a princess known for her virtue, wisdom, and devotion. Their union is often seen as an ideal partnership based on mutual respect and loyalty. Alongside them was Lakshmana, Rama's younger brother, who was deeply devoted to him and chose to stay by his side through all challenges. As Rama grew older, he was chosen to become the next king of Ayodhya. However, just before his coronation, a series of events changed his fate. One of King Dasharatha's queens, Kaikeyi, reminded the king of a promise he had made to her long ago. She asked that her own son be crowned king instead, and that Rama be sent into exile for 14 years. Despite the injustice of this demand, Rama accepted it without resistance. He believed that honoring his father's word was part of his dharma. Sita and Lakshmana chose to accompany him, leaving behind the comforts of the palace to live in the forest. During their exile, they lived a simple life, moving through forests and encountering sages, creatures, and various challenges. Their time in the forest was peaceful at first, but it eventually led to one of the central conflicts of the story. A powerful demon king named Ravana became aware of Sita and was captivated by her. Ravana was not an ordinary villain. He was highly intelligent, a great ruler, and a devoted follower of Shiva. However, his pride and desire led him down a destructive path. Using deception, Ravana kidnapped Sita and took her to his kingdom of Lanka. This act set the stage for a great journey and a battle that would determine the fate of many. When Rama discovered that Sita had been taken, he was filled with determination to rescue her. Along with Lakshmana, he began a long search that led them to form alliances with various beings, including a group of Vanaras, or monkey-like warriors. Among them was Hanuman, one of the most beloved figures in the Ramayana. Hanuman was strong, wise, and deeply devoted to Rama. His loyalty and courage played a crucial role in the story. He was able to leap across the ocean to Lanka, find Sita, and deliver Rama's message to her, giving her hope. With the help of Hanuman and the Vanara army, Rama prepared to confront Ravana. They built a bridge across the ocean to reach Lanka, symbolizing determination and cooperation in the face of great obstacles. The battle that followed was intense and filled with powerful warriors on both sides. Ravana's forces were strong, and the conflict tested Rama and his allies in many ways. However, throughout the battle, Rama remained guided by his sense of Dharma. Eventually, Rama faced Ravana in a final confrontation. Despite Ravana's strength and knowledge, he was defeated. This victory was not just about overcoming an enemy, but about restoring balance and justice. After Ravana's defeat, Sita was freed. However, her time in captivity led to questions about her purity, reflecting the societal expectations of the time. To prove her innocence, Sita underwent a trial by fire, from which she emerged unharmed, demonstrating her truth and devotion. With their exile complete, Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana returned to Ayodhya. Rama was crowned king, and his rule became known as a time of peace and justice, often referred to as Ram Rajya, an ideal kingdom where fairness and harmony prevailed. The story of the Ramayana is more than just a tale of adventure and conflict. It presents a model of how individuals can navigate difficult situations while remaining true to their values. Rama represents the ideal of duty and righteousness, even when faced with personal loss. Sita represents strength, patience, and integrity, while Lakshmana shows loyalty and dedication. Hanuman embodies devotion and selfless service. Even Ravana, though an antagonist, is portrayed with complexity. He is not simply evil, but a powerful figure whose downfall comes from pride and desire. This reflects a recurring theme in Hindu mythology, that imbalance rather than inherent evil leads to destruction. The Ramayana continues to be told and retold across generations, not just as a story, but as a guide for understanding human behavior and moral choices. It teaches that challenges are a part of life, and that how one responds to them defines their path. As the story of Rama concludes, it leaves behind lessons about duty, sacrifice, and the importance. Chapter 6: The Mahabharata, the Great War, and the Bhagavad Gita. The Mahabharata is one of the largest and most complex epics in Hindu mythology. It is not just a story of war, but a deep exploration of human nature, duty, morality, and the consequences of choices. At its center is a great conflict between two branches of the same royal family, the Pandavas and the Kauravas. The story begins in the kingdom of Hastinapura, where two sets of cousins are raised together. The Pandavas, 5 brothers led by Yudhishthira, are known for their sense of justice and righteousness. The Kauravas, led by Duryodhana, are driven by ambition and a desire for power. Although they grow up in the same palace, tension builds between them over time. Duryodhana becomes increasingly jealous of the Pandavas, especially their strength, unity, and popularity. This jealousy eventually leads to conflict. In an attempt to settle their differences, the kingdom is divided and the Pandavas are given their own territory. There they build a prosperous city called Indraprastha. For a time, peace seems possible. However, this peace does not last. Duryodhana, still consumed by envy, devises a plan to defeat the Pandavas through a game of dice. Yudhishthira, bound by his duty and sense of honor, accepts the invitation to play, even though the game is unfairly manipulated. One by one, Yudhishthira loses everything: his kingdom, his wealth, his brothers, and even his wife, Draupadi. This moment becomes one of the most powerful and troubling scenes in the epic. Draupadi is humiliated in the court, but her dignity and strength remain unbroken. As a result of the game, the Pandavas are sent into exile for 13 years. During this time, they endure hardship, but also grow stronger in character and resolve. They prepare for the possibility that peace may not be restored. When their exile ends, the Pandavas request the return of their rightful share of the kingdom. However, Duryodhana refuses, even denying them a small portion of land. At this point, war becomes unavoidable. The stage is set for the great battle of Kurukshetra, one of the most significant events in Hindu mythology. On one side stand the Pandavas, supported by allies who believe in justice. On the other side are the Kauravas, with their own powerful warriors and supporters. Among the many figures in this conflict, one stands out: Krishna, the eighth avatar of Vishnu. Krishna chooses not to fight in the battle, but instead offers guidance. He becomes the charioteer for Arjuna, one of the Pandava brothers and the greatest warrior among them. As the battle is about to begin, Arjuna looks across the battlefield and sees not just enemies, but teachers, relatives, and friends. He is overcome with doubt and sorrow. He questions the purpose of the war and whether it is right to fight against those he knows and respects. At this moment, Krishna delivers one of the most important teachings in Hindu philosophy, the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna explains that life is not just about physical existence, but about the eternal soul, or Atman. The body may perish, but the soul is eternal and cannot be destroyed. This understanding changes the perspective on life and death. He teaches Arjuna about dharma, the duty that each person must fulfill. As a warrior, Arjuna's duty is to fight for justice. Avoiding this duty out of fear or attachment would lead to imbalance. Krishna also introduces the concept of karma yoga, the idea of performing one's actions without attachment to the results. Instead of acting for personal gain or fear of loss, one should act with focus and dedication, leaving the outcome to the natural order. Another important teaching is bhakti, or devotion. Krishna emphasizes that through sincere devotion and trust in the divine, one can find peace and understanding. Throughout the conversation, Krishna reveals his universal form, showing that he is not just a guide, but the embodiment of the entire cosmos. This moment demonstrates the vastness of existence and the interconnectedness of all things. With this knowledge, Arjuna regains his clarity and resolves to fulfill his duty. The Battle of Kurukshetra lasts for 18 days and involves many powerful warriors and complex events. Each day brings new challenges and losses. The war is not portrayed as glorious, but as tragedy and tragic, showing the cost of conflict. In the end, the Pandavas emerge victorious, but their victory comes at a great price. Many lives are lost, including those of respected elders and teachers. The outcome restores balance, but also leaves a sense of reflection and responsibility. After the war, Yudhishthira becomes king. He rules with fairness and wisdom, but he is deeply affected by the consequences of the battle. This highlights an important idea. The pursuit of justice does not come without cost. The Mahabharata is more than a story of war. It presents a realistic view of life. Chapter 7. The Life of Krishna. Playfulness, wisdom, and divine guidance. Krishna, one of the most beloved figures in Hindu mythology, is known for his unique blend of playfulness, wisdom, and deep spiritual insight. As the eighth avatar of Vishnu, he appears during a time when the balance of the world is under threat. His life is not only filled with heroic acts, but also with moments of joy, love, and profound teaching. Krishna is born in the city of Mathura to Devaki and Vasudeva. However, his birth takes place under dangerous circumstances. A powerful king named Kamsa, who is Devaki's brother, has been warned by a prophecy that one of Devaki's children will be the cause of his downfall. Fearing this, Kamsa imprisons Devaki and Vasudeva and ensures that their children are taken from them. When Krishna is born, Vasudeva manages to secretly carry him across the Yamuna River to the village of Gokul. There, Krishna is raised by foster parents Yashoda and Nanda, away from the reach of Kamsa. This marks the beginning of Krishna's childhood, which is filled with playful and miraculous events. As a child, Krishna is known for his mischievous nature. He is often seen stealing butter, playing tricks, and charming everyone around him. These stories, while light-hearted, carry deeper meanings. They reflect the idea that the divine is not distant or serious, but can also be joyful and present in everyday life. Krishna's childhood is also marked by his protection of the village. Even at a young age, he defeats powerful demons sent by Kamsa to kill him. These victories show that even in a playful form, the divine has the power to protect and restore balance. One of the most famous stories from Krishna's early life is his lifting of Govardhan Hill. When the villagers prepare to worship Indra, the god of rain, Krishna encourages them instead to honor the natural environment that sustains them. Angered by this, Indra sends a massive storm to punish the village. In response, Krishna lifts the entire Govardhan Hill with one hand, providing shelter for the villagers and their animals. This act demonstrates both his strength and his message, that respect for nature and humility are more important than pride and fear. As Krishna grows older, his role begins to shift. He eventually leaves Gokul and returns to Mathura, where he confronts Kamsa. In a decisive moment, Krishna defeats Kamsa, ending his rule and fulfilling the prophecy. This marks the transition from his playful youth to his role as a leader and protector. Krishna later becomes a key figure in the political and social events of his time. He establishes the city of Dwarka and plays an important role in guiding rulers and maintaining balance in the region. One of Krishna's most important contributions comes during the events of the Mahabharata. As a friend and guide to the Pandavas, he offers wisdom and support during their struggles. His role as Arjuna's charioteer during the Battle of Kurukshetra becomes the setting for the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. In the Gita, Krishna explains the nature of the self, the importance of duty, and the path to spiritual understanding. He teaches that life should be lived with awareness, discipline, and detachment from outcomes. These teachings are not limited to warriors or specific situations. They apply to all aspects of life. Krishna also emphasizes the importance of devotion, or bhakti. He explains that through sincere love and trust in the divine, one can overcome confusion and find inner peace. This idea makes spirituality accessible, focusing not just on knowledge or action, but also on the heart. Another important aspect of Krishna's life is his relationship with the gopis, especially Radha. These stories are often interpreted symbolically, representing the soul's longing for connection with the divine. The love between Krishna and Radha is seen as a pure and selfless form of devotion. Krishna's life combines many different roles: child, friend, warrior, teacher, and divine guide. This makes him a relatable and complex figure. He shows that the divine can exist in many forms and can be present in all aspects of life. Toward the end of his life, Krishna's role in the world comes to a close as part of the natural cycle of time. His departure marks the transition into the Kali Yuga, the age of decline and confusion. This shift reflects the idea that even divine incarnations are part of the larger rhythm of the universe. Krishna's teachings and stories continue to influence millions of people. They offer guidance on how to live with purpose, how to face challenges, and how to find meaning beyond material success. He represents a balance between action and reflection, joy and responsibility, human experience and divine understanding. As this chapter concludes, Krishna's life stands as a reminder that wisdom does not always come in serious or expected forms. It can appear in play, in music, in Chapter 8. The Cycle of Time. Yugas, Karma, and the Nature of Reality. One of the most unique and profound ideas in Hindu mythology is its understanding of time. Unlike the linear view of time, where events move from a beginning toward an end, Hindu thought describes time as cyclical. This means that the universe is constantly going through repeating patterns of creation, existence, and dissolution. At the center of this idea is the concept of the Yugas, or ages. These ages describe the gradual changes in the moral and spiritual condition of the world over time. There are 4 yugas in each cycle, and together they form a complete sequence that repeats endlessly. The first is Satya Yuga, often called the Age of Truth. In this age, harmony, honesty, and righteousness are at their peak. People live long lives, and there is a deep connection between humans and the divine. There is no need for strict rules or laws because everyone naturally follows Dharma, the path of truth and duty. The second age is Treta Yuga. In this period, there is a slight decline in moral values. People begin to experience desire and ambition, and while Dharma is still strong, it is no longer perfect. This is the age in which the story of Rama takes place, showing how individuals must actively uphold righteousness. The third age is Dvapara Yuga. Here the decline continues. Conflicts become more common, and confusion begins to affect human decisions. Dharma is only partially followed, and people must struggle more to understand what is right. The events of the Mahabharata and the life of Krishna occur during this age. The fourth and final age is Kali Yuga, the age we are believed to be living in now. In this age, moral values are at their lowest. There is widespread confusion, materialism, and conflict. People are more disconnected from spiritual understanding, and it becomes harder to follow Dharma. However, Kali Yuga is not simply a negative period, it is part of a natural cycle. Just as night follows day, decline follows growth. At the end of Kali Yuga, the cycle begins again with Satya Yuga, restoring balance and harmony. This cyclical nature of time reflects a broader idea in Hindu mythology, that nothing is permanent in its current form. Everything changes, transforms, and eventually renews itself. Connected to this idea is the concept of karma, the law of cause and effect. According to this principle, every action has a consequence. These consequences may not always be immediate, but they shape future experiences. Karma is not seen as punishment or reward, but as a natural system that maintains balance. Positive actions lead to beneficial outcomes, while harmful actions lead to challenges or suffering. This system encourages responsibility and awareness in how one acts. Karma is closely linked to samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. In Hindu belief, the soul, or Atman, is eternal. It does not end with physical death, but continues on, taking on new forms in different lifetimes. Each life provides an opportunity to learn, grow, and move closer to understanding one's true nature. The experiences a soul goes through are influenced by its past actions, creating a continuous cycle of cause and effect. The ultimate goal in this cycle is moksha, or liberation. Moksha is the release from samsara, the end of the cycle of rebirth. It is achieved through self-realization, understanding, and the removal of ignorance. Reaching moksha means recognizing that the individual self, or Atman, is not separate from the ultimate reality, Brahman. This realization brings freedom from suffering, desire, and limitation. Another important concept related to the nature of reality is Maya. Maya refers to the illusion or appearance of the world. It suggests that what we perceive as reality is not the full truth, but a limited view shaped by our senses and mind. This does not mean the world is unreal, but that it is constantly changing and not permanent. Understanding Maya helps individuals look beyond surface appearances and seek deeper truth. Dharma also plays a central role in navigating this cycle. It represents the right way of living based on one's role, responsibilities, and circumstances. Following Dharma helps maintain balance both within oneself and in the larger world. In a changing and sometimes confusing world, Dharma provides a sense of direction. It is not always the same for everyone, but depends on individual situations and stages of life. Together, these concepts, Yugas, karma, samsara, moksha, Maya, and Dharma, form a framework for understanding existence in Hindu mythology. They explain not only how the universe operates, but also how individuals can find meaning within it. Time is not something to be feared or controlled, but something to be understood. It moves in cycles, bringing both challenges and opportunities. Every phase has its purpose, and every moment is part of a larger pattern, as the tune winds. Chapter 9. The Gods and Goddesses. Symbols of power, nature, and life. As Hindu mythology unfolds, it introduces a vast and diverse array of gods and goddesses. Unlike traditions that focus on a single form of the divine, Hindu thought presents many deities, each representing different aspects of existence. These are not separate, competing gods, but expressions of the same ultimate reality, Brahman, taking forms that humans can understand and relate to. Each deity symbolizes certain forces of nature, qualities of life, or inner aspects of human experience. Together, they form a complex system that reflects the richness and diversity of the universe itself. Among the most widely recognized is Shiva, the force of transformation. As explored earlier, Shiva represents both destruction and renewal. He reminds us that change is necessary and that endings are part of new beginnings. His calm, meditative presence also reflects inner stillness and awareness. Vishnu, the preserver, maintains balance in the universe. Through his avatars, he intervenes whenever harmony is threatened. His role emphasizes protection, stability, and the importance of sustaining order in a constantly changing world. Brahma, the creator, is responsible for bringing the universe into existence. Although he plays a crucial role in the beginning, he is less actively worshipped in later traditions. His presence remains important as the source of creation and knowledge. Alongside these primary figures are many other deities who represent specific forces and ideas. Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity, symbolizes not only material success, but also well-being, harmony, and abundance. She is often associated with Vishnu and represents the sustaining energy that supports life. Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, learning, and the arts, represents wisdom and creativity. She is associated with speech, music, and intellectual clarity, reminding us of the importance of knowledge in understanding the world. Parvati, the consort of Shiva, represents strength, devotion, and nurturing energy. She appears in many forms, including Durga and Kali, each expressing different aspects of power and protection. Durga is a warrior goddess who represents the triumph of good over evil. She is often depicted riding a lion and defeating powerful demons. Her form symbolizes courage, strength, and the ability to overcome challenges. Kali, another powerful form of Parvati, represents time, change, and the destruction of illusion. Her appearance may seem intense, but she symbolizes the removal of ignorance and the liberation from fear. Ganesha, the son of Shiva and Parvati, is one of the most widely worshipped deities. Known as the remover of obstacles, he is associated with beginnings, wisdom, and success. His unique form with an elephant head symbolizes intelligence, adaptability, and the ability to overcome difficulties. Kartikeya, also known as Skanda, is the god of war and strategy. He represents courage, leadership, and the ability to face challenges with discipline and focus. Other important deities include Indra, the god of the sky and rain, Agni, the god of fire, and Varuna, associated with water and cosmic law. These deities are often connected to natural elements, reflecting the deep relationship between mythology and the environment. The presence of so many deities does not suggest confusion or contradiction. Instead, it reflects a flexible and inclusive way of understanding the divine. Different forms allow people to connect with the aspects of life that are most meaningful to them. Another important idea is that these deities are both external and internal. While they are described in stories and worshipped in temples, they also represent qualities within each individual. For example, seeking Saraswati can be seen as seeking knowledge, while invoking Ganesha can represent overcoming personal obstacles. This symbolic nature gives Hindu mythology depth and adaptability. The stories can be understood on multiple levels, as literal narratives, moral lessons, or spiritual teachings. Rituals and practices often involve honoring these deities through prayer, offerings, and festivals. These acts are not just about devotion, but about creating a connection between the individual and the larger universe. Festivals such as Diwali, which celebrates light over darkness, and Navaratri, which honors the divine feminine, bring these stories into everyday life. They serve as reminders of the values and principles represented by the deities. Temples, symbols, and images also play an important role. They provide a focus for meditation and reflection, helping individuals connect with the qualities each deity represents. In this way, the many gods and goddesses of Hindu mythology form a system that is both vast and deeply personal. They offer different paths to understanding the same ultimate truth, rather than limiting the idea of theosophy. Chapter 10. The Meaning of Hindu Mythology. Understanding the universe and ourselves. As we reach the final chapter, it becomes clear that Hindu mythology is not just a collection of stories about gods, heroes, and cosmic events. It is a vast and layered system of thought that seeks to explain the nature of existence, the structure of the universe, and the place of human life within it. From the very beginning, with the emergence of creation from an infinite and formless reality, the mythology presents a universe that is deeply interconnected. Everything, gods, humans, nature, and even time itself, is part of a single, continuous whole. This idea forms the foundation of Hindu philosophy, that all things are expressions of one ultimate reality, known as Brahman. Throughout the chapters, we have seen how this reality takes many forms. It appears as Vishnu, preserving balance, as Shiva, transforming and renewing, and as Brahma, creating the universe. It also appears through countless other deities, each representing different aspects of life and experience. These forms are not separate or independent. They are ways of understanding something that is ultimately beyond form. By presenting the divine in many ways, Hindu mythology allows for a deeper and more flexible connection to the idea of the universe. One of the central themes that runs through all these stories is balance. The universe is not static. It is constantly changing. Creation leads to growth. Growth leads to complexity. And complexity eventually leads to imbalance. When that imbalance becomes too great, forces emerge to restore harmony. This is seen in the actions of Vishnu's avatars, who appear whenever order is threatened. It is also seen in Shiva's role, where destruction clears the way for new creation. Even conflicts such as those between the Devas and Asuras are part of this larger system of balance. Another key idea is the cyclical nature of time. Unlike a single beginning and end, Hindu mythology describes time as an ongoing cycle. The Yugas repeat, the universe is created and dissolved again and again, and life continues through the cycle of birth and rebirth. This perspective changes how existence is understood. Instead of seeing life as a one-time event, it becomes part of a much larger process. Each moment is connected to what came before and what will come after. Within this cycle, human life has a specific role. Through the concepts of dharma and karma, individuals are given a way to understand their actions and responsibilities. Dharma provides guidance on how to live in alignment with the natural order, while karma ensures that actions have consequences. Together, these ideas encourage awareness and responsibility. They suggest that every action matters and contributes to the larger balance of the universe. At the same time, Hindu mythology recognizes that life can be complex and uncertain. The stories of the Ramayana and the Mahabharata show that even the most righteous individuals face difficult choices and challenges. There is rarely a simple answer, and understanding often comes through experience. This leads to another important goal: moksha, or liberation. While life continues through cycles of birth and rebirth, moksha represents the possibility of stepping beyond that cycle. It is achieved through understanding the true nature of reality and realizing that the individual self is not separate from the whole. This realization is not just intellectual, it is experiential. It involves letting go of attachment, overcoming ignorance, and seeing beyond the illusions created by the mind, often described as Maya. The teachings found in texts like the Bhagavad Gita provide different paths toward this understanding. These include the path of action, karma yoga, the path of knowledge, jnana yoga, and the path of devotion, bhakti yoga. Each path offers a different approach, allowing individuals to find what resonates with them. One of the most remarkable aspects of Hindu mythology is its openness. It does not demand a single interpretation or belief. Instead, it offers multiple perspectives, encouraging exploration and personal understanding. The stories can be read as history, as symbolism, or as philosophical teaching. They can inspire devotion, reflection, or curiosity. This flexibility has allowed Hindu mythology to remain relevant across thousands of years, adapting to different cultures and ways of thinking. At its core, Hindu mythology invites a deeper way of seeing the world. It encourages looking beyond surface appearances and asking larger questions. What is the nature of reality? What is the purpose of life? How should one act in a changing and uncertain world? It does not always provide simple answers, but it offers a framework for exploration, Through its stories, it shows that life is not just about external events, but also about inner understanding. As this journey comes to an end, the